Hi and welcome to the channel. My name is Rai and today we want to talk about job hunting in Kenya. So there's this guy in Reddit who wants to know where Kenyans are getting jobs. So I'll just pull up this subreddit. So this guy is asking, hello, how do you guys look for jobs? I've tried LinkedIn, my job mag and CareerJet, but 90% of the time I don't even get any response. The responses I mostly get have unfortunately in them. I've only had 4 interviews from last year December. Today I woke up just to be hit with, you have great skills, but the pool was competitive and we had to make tough decisions. I felt demotivated and really discouraged. Even getting internships nowadays is extremely hard. What are those tricks you guys use if you're already at work? How did you get your first job? It kind of feels like this degree is useless. Before we even try to answer this, maybe we'll just try to look at some of the things that people said in the comments. And I can tell you that Kenyans are hilarious. So people in the comments are saying things like, I know it might be discouraging, but have you tried lying? Just kidogo to put things in your favor. Another person is saying, I gave up. Luckily, someone saw a comment I made on TikTok and sent me a message, connected me to gigs that pay me weekly. That's how I survive. The other one is saying, ni ujanja una, do you know kuna call center jobs USA, kuna mystery shopping jobs, and many more. When I looked at these replies, I thought maybe there's something that I can address in a video to answer some of the questions that this guy wanted answered, and maybe I'll be able to help someone else in the process. So let's get started. So maybe I'll just talk about, instead of talking about myself here, I'd like to talk about some of the people that I've mentored and also my own brother, so that you can see the process they used in order for them to get their jobs immediately after campus. Yeah, so I'll start with one of my friends. So I have a friend, a very close friend, who's called Sam. So Sam, he studied Bachelor of Science degree, BSc General, at Kenyatta University. And after graduation, he stayed home for a couple of years without a job. He tried taking on several gigs in town here. He tried teaching in high schools. It was so challenging. They were paying 10K-ish per month, and then it was really overwhelming. So he quit. And then I went home, and so here he worked for a few months, and at this point, while he was working over there, over the years, he told me that he had developed an interest in software engineering. I'm actually a software engineer myself, so he was wondering where to start from. So we had a discussion, so I gave him a roadmap to follow to learn how to code, and he followed it for 6 months. So after 6 months, then I encouraged him to start applying for work. So he started by trying freelancing, and as he was doing that, he was also learning how to interview. He was learning all those things. He also joined LinkedIn, and he created a profile where now he was trying to connect with the people who are in software engineering. And whenever he would, as he was continuing to build his audience, he also would post content about software engineering, whatever he would have learned. And one of the times he shared something about one of the frameworks he's used, and somebody saw it and he was interested. So he inboxed him, and that's how he got his first job. Another close friend of mine is named Elias. So Elias is also a former student of KU, and he studied English literature and graduated. So after completing college, he immediately started looking for teaching jobs. It was really difficult to get a stable teaching job because the queue is so long. There are people who graduate every year, and so they consider the number of years that you've stayed out. So they'll prioritize people who graduated earlier than you. So it was really difficult for him to find a spot. One day we met at church and we were sharing, and he told me that he had an interest in software engineering, and that if possible, he would like to venture away from teaching because he thought that the growth prospects there are really low and he would not enjoy teaching. I shared some learning resources with him, and I continued to provide mentorship with him until he too was ready to start applying for work. So for him, it was a bit tough. He had to apply so many times to so many roles. He got so many rejections, but he kept on trying to apply. Eventually, he landed a role as a software engineer. The last person whose story I want to share, which is different from the story of software engineers, is my own brother. So at some point, my brother finished campus and he joined me. My brother had studied Bachelor of Arts in Film. So since he was in the creative field, I was helping him to figure out what he can venture into. We thought that maybe he could try design and video editing and things like that. So he just ventured into design. At that point, I was trying to set up a software development company for my side hustle, and I needed some help to design some creatives and videos to promote my things online. So I gave him that task to try and do that, and he would try to design something. We'll go through it together, give him feedback, and he got a really deep interest in design. So he kept on learning and learning and learning. So he watched hours of videos on YouTube. He also watched courses on LinkedIn Learning, and eventually he perfected the use of Adobe design and video software and many other tools like Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Filmora, and many others. So he also created profiles on LinkedIn and Behance. So Behance is it's like GitHub for designers. Okay, so that's where now you post your creative work, and then you can share that profile as a portfolio with your potential employer. So it took him a total of 6 months, and he started to apply for work. I think he applied on a site called fuzu.com. I think that's where I got my first stable job also, on Fuzu. So eventually he landed a role, and right now he's working as a digital marketing manager at a large bank in Kenya. I have shared these stories. Maybe I'm sure you wanted to know how people are getting jobs in Kenya, and I just wanted to share those so that you can see the journey that these other people went through, people at least that I've mentored closely. For me, it was really hard. It took me like 5 years because I didn't have a mentor. So it's very important to have a mentor. It takes you way shorter time. And when you have a mentor, please listen to them. Of course, you have listened to the story, but it's good just for us to summarize what you had. So number one is you need to specialize, okay? So I can't tell you how many times I talk to young people, they tell me they are looking for work, and then you ask them, what do you want to do? What kind of work are you looking for? And then they just tell you, I can do anything. No, you can't do anything, you're lying. So you need to specialize. So whether you want to specialize in software engineering, design, machine learning, data analytics, AI engineering, project management, all these things you can do even without a degree. So make sure that you pick one that you want to venture into, and remember, make sure that you plan. Like for me, I like to put a plan of like even 2 years. Yeah. So because if you wait till the day when things are tough, so you can panic. When things are okay, then you go back to relaxing. But you set out a plan for like 2 years. Okay. So you can see the shortest time for the people that I was mentoring was 6 months, and one of them, it took them 2 years. For me, it took even 5 years, okay, because I didn't have a mentor. So you see that, like, make sure that you specialize so that you can mature faster. Then you can branch out later into other things, okay? So the fact that you specialize in one thing does not mean that you stay there forever. You can branch out later, okay? So specializing is just to help you to master one thing, because it takes time to master things. All right, so number one, specialize, okay? Pick one area, specialize. It doesn't have to be something you did in campus. Like I told you, they did something different in campus and they took on software engineering, design, and whatever, okay? Then number two thing that is very important is make sure that you network. So most opportunities in Kenya are filled through referrals, all right? So you need to start reaching out to people in your field, especially on LinkedIn, and you can send them connection requests. Do not follow them, send them connection requests. So when you follow somebody, you see their content, but they can't see yours. But if you connect, then they can be able to see your content, all right? You can also make sure that you attend meetups and join professional WhatsApp or Telegram groups. So make sure that you actively look for these groups. We also have companies which usually have events, so you can attend those events, listen to what your eyes will be opened further, and you can even find something interesting that you can venture into, all right? Make sure that you share online what you have picked up during your learning journey, so that will, it also shows people that at least you know what you're talking about. You might mention something and maybe somebody is looking for somebody who specializes in that specific thing, and then they can reach out and give you a job. All right. So people trust someone that they feel like they know. And nowadays, one of the best ways that people get to know each other is through social media. So make sure that you put yourself out there. The other thing that maybe wasn't apparent in the stories that I told is tailor your CV and cover letter. Okay. Avoid sending the same CV everywhere. Just take some time. Remember, you want these people to give you a job that is going to pay you a good salary every month. So please just take time and customize your CV. Just customize it as if you're going to get the job. Instead of you just firing your CV everywhere, you'd rather just apply to 10 roles, but you customize your CV to those 10 roles, even if you're going to spend the whole day. So like I like to tell people, don't treat applying for jobs as if you're wasting time, that you're wasting precious time that you should have been doing something else. So instead of, even like when you're coding, instead of coding daily, you can say, this week I'm just applying for work. And so you customize your CV. If you pay attention to your CV, then it will most likely even catch the attention of the other person. But if you don't pay much attention to it, then you will do a shoddy job and maybe it won't be seen on the other side. The other thing I would like to say is make sure that you are willing to start small. I've seen young people sometimes they refuse completely to start small. So I think it is better to try and get into corporate so that you can learn as much as you can before now you go back and try to do your own thing. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is persistence and your mindset. Make sure that you really work on your mindset, so you don't see rejections as meaning that you're not good enough. Yeah, especially when you're young, you tend to be very sensitive to rejection, but that is something that you can work on. So don't look at it as meaning that you're not good enough. Even when the person gives you feedback, they tell you, oh, you're not good enough here, you're not good enough there. Just understand, yeah, fine, we are not a good match, but I'm sure I'll be a good match somewhere else, instead of panicking. All right. So a lot of times, rejection just means that someone else fit the role slightly better. So each interview is a practice. So each, unfortunately, is one step closer to a yes. So the more interviews you go through, they'll ask you questions, you realize, oh, okay, I didn't know about this. Then you go and research. So by the time you're now landing your role, you're now very seasoned, that you can even be able to help someone else to go through the process. All right. So I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, please subscribe to help the channel grow, and so that we can be able to reach even more people. Otherwise, thank you so much, and see you in the next one.